Hi there, I'm Dr. Stephanie Falk, and today I want to talk about sadness. I don't think as a culture we're socialized very well to handle sadness or disappointment. And it's a very unfortunate thing because instead of having a troubling event and dealing with sadness and disappointment and perhaps grief and loss that goes along with that, we very quickly think that that troubling event and that experience of sadness says something negative about our sense of self. Let me give you an example to explain what I mean here. So say you have an experience where you're starting to go to a luncheon, and your friend calls when you're 10 minutes out and says, "I'm sorry, I'm not able to make it. Something came up." That would be sad. Maybe it's a friend that you haven't seen in a couple of months and you were really excited to go to lunch and to visit with them. And I think most of us would be sad or disappointed. And keeping it there would be what we want to do. I'm sad and disappointed, but you know what? I'm okay, we're okay, and we can reschedule. That's a healthy way of coping with sadness. And then maybe putting on your favorite song and trying to shift your mood a little bit as well, so that the rest of the day carries on in a great way. But likely the interpretation of, hey, that's sad and disappointing, and we're still okay, is going to allow you to be happy and carry on in a good way with your day anyway. Unfortunately, what we do a lot of times is that sadness quickly says something negative about ourselves, and that negative would be, oh man, like if I were really important to her, then she wouldn't have canceled. Or I must not have value in her life. I wonder what came up. I bet it wasn't even important. She just didn't want to have lunch with me. That's all stuff we make up that is not healthy and that we don't have any evidence to support. And what it does is it makes us feel really crappy about ourselves rather than dealing with sadness and grief and loss. Another example, maybe a more major event, would be that you've been dating someone for a while and then they say that they're not into the relationship, it's not a good fit, and they'd like to go their separate ways. Maybe for the first 6 months of dating them, it felt good and you felt valuable and attractive and wanted by this person. And then after the breakup, the thoughts that are going through your head are, I must not be lovable. I must not be attractive. I must not be worthy of a healthy, good relationship. The funny thing is, though, is that, 2 weeks prior, you wouldn't have thought those things about yourself. And usually those things don't just shift overnight. So essentially, does that breakup really mean all that negative stuff about yourself? Or is it just really sad and disappointing? You care about that person, you wanted the relationship to work out, and it's really sad and there's grief and loss there. To me, that is what we need to be able to do, is say, hey, I'm feeling really sad. Let's keep sadness sad. It doesn't have to imply anything negative about me. So I see this, every day when I talk to friends, when I talk to the clients that I'm privileged to work with. I see that we carry around this very negative self-talk when we have troubling events, rather than being able to cope with the distress and the disappointment that we experience. And it's a really unfortunate thing. I really don't know why we do it. My sneaky suspicion is that in some way it implies that we have control over outcomes and situations. So if I can say it was all me, I suck, I'm the problem, rather than, what, the situation sucks and this is really disappointing, then somehow we think that we have more control over troubling events that happen in our life. I'm not trying to take away the sense that, we don't have agency to make choices that, impact our lives and impact relationships, because certainly we do. But I think in general, when it comes to handling disappointments, it's really important to figure out a way to cope with them in healthy ways. How do I keep this disappointment in this corner of emotion that's hard and let myself work through this grief and this, icky feeling that I have because this didn't work out, rather than erode who we are as people and question our worth and question our value. A very simple example is, say I'm carrying all my stuff into work and I drop it. Obviously I dropped it. It didn't drop itself, so I have some responsibility there. But there's a very different interpretation if I say, man, that's sad and that's disappointing because my screen on my laptop cracked. I wouldn't like that situation. Been there, done that. I hate having to go down and, turn on your laptop and fix that. So it's disappointing and frustrating. But a whole different animal is saying, hey, I'm a person who's clumsy and I suck rather than the situation sucks. So that's another way to differentiate. Are we keeping sadness sad? Does the situation suck or do I suck? And hopefully we can say the situation sucks so that we can live more satisfying lives. I hope I've encouraged you to consider your internal dialogue. Let's keep sadness sad rather than saying something negative about our sense of selves. I hope that it's been helpful to listen to the video. If you don't want to miss a video, feel free to subscribe, and I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you.